Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about pronouns in video games. We're going to talk about RuneScape, a very, very old game, a 20-plus-year-old RPG, suddenly dropping male and female body types and requiring that you have pronouns, use pronouns. We're going to talk about this. This is crazy. We're seeing this a lot. We're seeing a lot of old games now being retconned to suit today's modern sensibilities. And this is why owning physical media, I think, is so important. If you don't want to get on board the pronoun train. Before I get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. So we're going to talk about RuneScape. We're going to talk about Terraria. Apparently Terraria, a patch from, it was actually a couple years ago. I thought it was a new patch. Actually, I looked into it. It was like a year or two ago. They removed male and female from that game as well. And now you're stuck with body type A and body type B. And look, I would expect this from a new game. Okay, I absolutely would expect this from a new game. But when we're going back 20 years, over 20 years, and even this version of RuneScape, old school RuneScape, is 2013, I guess is when it came out. Terraria came out in what, like 2011, 2012? Why do we have to go back to these games and change it to body type A and body type B to make people feel better about themselves in 2024? I mean, this is overkill, right? Are we going to stop referring to Peach as a woman in the Mario games from like 25 years ago? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we gonna make people burn their cartridges because they use gendered language? Whatever. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Again, I would absolutely expect this from a current year video game, a AAA title especially, but to go back and retcon these old games makes no damn sense to me. It's come from Niche Gamer. Old school RuneScape removes male and female from character creator, adds mandatory pronouns. Pronouns! New update for, is it Jagex? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. I just played RuneScape off and on, but I don't remember the company name. Old school RuneScape has gotten fans upset as it not only removes traditional male and female sex from the character creator, also forces mandatory pronoun usage on players. A new diversity and inclusion update. Is that what it's actually called? Do they actually call it that? A new diversity and inclusion update for old school RuneScape was released today. That would have been yesterday. That removes the 20-plus-year-old MMORPG's biological male and female sexes from its character creator as seen above. In their place are the options body type A and body type B. The game also now has mandatory pronouns for player characters where they must choose he or him, they or them, or she or her. The last major diversity and inclusion change made in this update is that all facial hairstyles can be used on either body type. So you can have the bearded lady. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get character customization. I get it. And I would even expect this from a current year game. But to go back to old games and do this, to retcon the past, is ridiculous. This is right up there with all these streaming services editing movies from 20 years ago. This is right up there with Square Enix editing their 20-plus, 30-year-old games for sensitivity reasons. I'm like, I think everybody understands a game that came out in 1998 is going to have some stuff in it that maybe wouldn't fly today, but it is a product of 1998. I think everybody freaking gets that, right? And this is the world we live in. You could buy a game like that in 1998 at a Toys R Us at 12 years of age, and it was completely fine, right? And now adults are offended because you're not recognizing their pronouns or whatever. You're not letting them create the kind of characters that they think they should be. It's just really, really weird, guys. This is weird. It's weird. It's weird. It is weird. It is weird to go back to old games like this and make changes like this. Another diversity Let's see here. Okay, I'm sorry. It's worth pointing out that any major updates or changes to the game require at least 70% of the players voting to approve it. However, both game integrity updates and the diversity and inclusion updates are mandatory and not voted on by players and cannot be vetoed by the community. That's weird. That's weird. That is weird. Another diversity and inclusion update released earlier this summer altered a long-running and fan-favorite Kiss the Frog event, which had players kiss the frog, prince or princess, just like the fairy tale. Now players pat the head of the frog and acquire both the prince and princess parts of the royal frog costume. Same update also censored the ethereal man or ethereal lady with an ethereal being during lunar diplomacy, although its physical appearance will reflect the player's body type again, which is clearly based on biological male and female sexes. We can't have that anymore. Many games have been removing traditional biological sex from both character creators and even pre-written storylines like Dragon Quest III, HD 2D Remake, and Pikmin 1 and 2. Also, Pal World. Now, that didn't, again, this is the thing. Like, that didn't bother me. It did bother some people. We did Pal World. We did a playthrough, and people were like, hell no, I'm not even going to support this game because of the body type A and body type B, which were clearly male and female, but they made sure it was, you know, body type A and B. I don't know if that was like a Microsoft thing, if they made them do that or what. But again, I give more of a pass, I think, to a current year game than I do to a 20-year-old game. Like, applying current year sensibilities to these games that were made in a different time, I think is freaking idiotic. I mean, we can argue whether or not the whole thing is freaking idiotic, but especially to go back to old games. Like I said, I can't wait for them to try to censor old Nintendo cartridges or something. Here's a lock-on cartridge for your Sega Genesis that removes all the offensive stuff from all these video games. Lock-on technology, right? Yeah, so Terraria apparently did this too. And I thought this was a new update. I know they had a big update recently on Terraria, but I have not actually sat down to play Terraria in like a decade. I used to play it with Squid King all the time when he was little, but I haven't sat down to play it. That being said, apparently they made this change a couple of years ago, and it's style. Now it's style, it's not male or female. You can't do that. So this is something that's been discussed on Reddit for a while, that there are a lot of games, a lot of newer games, Japanese developed games actually, that are, getting rid of male and female in lieu of body type 1 and body type 2. And like I said, Pal World for sure, but they're saying Elden Ring, Phantasy Star Online 2, New Generations, Monster Hunter Rise. I really, haven't been paying, again, I haven't been paying that close of attention to it because with newer games, I guess I just figured like, yeah, of course they're going to, whatever. If it doesn't affect gameplay, if it doesn't, in the case of RuneScape, we're talking about them actually changing game events and everything to be more gender inclusive. And again, this is a 20-year-old game. So where does it stop? Every game that's on Steam, if at some point in time, Valve gets sold to a company that wants to push all kinds of gender ideology, that you're not allowed to have old games that have gendered language, or, I'm saying, like, where does this stop? Are they going to go back to games that are 20 years old, every game, and change everything just so some people current year can feel better about it? It said in China, they don't give a shit. Well, we know that. We know China doesn't give a shit because MiHoYo got into it with people on Twitter. They were calling them out for some of their characters having too light a skin in a fictional setting. And they're like, yeah, it's just a game. But this has been going on for a while. I mean, the gamer, of course, Stacey Henley, who I believe is trans. I think Stacey Henley is trans, but Stacey was kind of leading the brigade against J.K. Rowling, but there is a section of game devs and game journos that are very, very, very against mods to make characters look more attractive, female characters look more attractive. There's a whole Steam community discussion about trying to make characters in Baldur's Gate look more attractive. Of course, we had Nexus mods. Of course, we famously had Nexus mods banning mods that would take away pronoun usage in games that have pronoun usage. But you can do a variety of other things that are, some of them downright deplorable, but you're not allowed to take away the pronoun usage in Starfield. Like I said, in a newer game, I don't really notice it as much, but when you're going back to old games, you have absolutely positively lost the plot. Is this a joke? No, it's not a joke. 20 years ago, nobody gave a fuck. That is 100% true. And we're going to retcon history. This is where it becomes a major issue for a lot of people. This is same with like Gone with the Wind, and even we could argue the Splash Mountain debacle with Disney, where they try to go back and retcon history. I think most people understood, again, that these were products of their time. Just leave them alone. It is what it is. All you're gonna do is push gamers to alternatives. But I think what they're trying to do is take away the alternatives, because what is going on more and more, what I see happening is people are going back to older games to try to get away from this, right? Partially. I think there are a lot more reasons than that, but they're trying to get away from this sort of thing. So now they're being chased. They're being chased. Oh, you want to go play this game from 15, 20 years ago? Oh, guess what? We just updated a patch. Yeah, we just patched that game, and now pronouns follow you around the whole time you play. Nah, I'm not saying really, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're doing it now just to make sure gamers can't get away from it. And it's gonna hit a tipping point, I think, here pretty soon. I think the collapse of AAA gaming was definitely a major blow. And I think gamers are just going to buy physical media, and they're going to buy games that aren't online, and they're going to go back to playing on the PS1, PS2 that's not online, because that's about the only way you're going to get away from it. You can't even play RuneScape now. I'm just saying. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.